Hello, welcome to this week's hashtag toe to toe. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Spencer Fearon, who just dropped his pen. Good to see Spencer. And this week, Charlie Edwards. Really nice to see you, Charlie.
Thank you for having me. Big
opportunity coming up for you on the 22nd. You are fighting for a world title against Cristofer Rosales.
Yeah, massive opportunity coming up. Really looking forward to it. Been wanting this big fight for a long time. I've been chasing the likes of Kal Yafai, even Miflane Maruti, who was the IBF flyweight champion, and we got offered Cristofer Rosales, and I took it at the first opportunity. I'm ready now. I've done all the groundwork. I've done all the hardship of being up here, being hyped right up, and falling at a big hurdle in my first professional defeat against John Casemiro. And I've learnt lessons and learned a long road, bumpy road, but I'm here now. I've got a perfect opportunity, and on December 22nd, I will be crowned world champion.
Spencer, how much of a threat is Rosales, do you think, to Charlie?
Very, very good. If you remember, he floored Andrew Selby, right? And that was a legit knockdown as well. Yes. That wasn't right. And I really do rate Andrew Selby. I think he's a very, very good, accomplished amateur, and he's doing great things as a professional fighter. So you cannot take him lightly. And now that somebody's won a world title, what happens is that's just going to raise your gravitas as well. So he's going to be properly up for it. And remember, he must feel pretty confident. The money must have been pretty big for him to fly over here, to come over here. So he must have pictures of you all over his house. You do realise that. You're a good-looking boy, so you understand. Right, but he must have pictures all over his house. So he's going to come to Rumble as well. And he's serious. He's well accomplished. He's got a very, very good jab. I know you've been studying him. He's got a very good jab. So we're going to see what happens on the day.
Charlie, you mentioned the Casemiro defeat. That was 2016, wasn't it?
Yes.
What's changed for you from then to now?
I believe that I've learned a hell of a lot. It's changed me as a person. It's made me realise the sport of boxing inside and outside the ring. It made me realise what I had to do to get to that world level. I had to reassess a lot of things. I had to really test myself as a person. Having a defeat so early on in my career, having all the hype of Sky, having all the matchroom behind me, it was a big hit and it hurt. And through that pain, I really think it's developed me as a man. It made me grow up a lot quicker, and it made me realise that what's worth having isn't easy, and you've got to come through tough tests to get there.
It's almost like a blessing in disguise, I guess.
That's what I always say. I don't regret taking that fight. It's made me and put me in a position and made me the man I am today. And on December the 22nd, it'll come of the hour, come of the man.
Fantastic. You ready for this?
Ready.
Tweets. First one is from Mr. Gin and Tonic. How good is that name? I think Charlie could become a multi-weight world champion and is a skilled boxer. What is more satisfying, victory for Charlie or a big KO or a boxing masterclass?
All day long it's a victory. You don't know how the victory is going to come. It could come at split second and it could be a knockout like in my last fight against Anthony Nelson. Or you can go a unique points win over 12 rounds like he did against Ian Butcher every round.
What's sweeter?
I think the bittersweet is outschooling someone and taking them to school and not taking no punishment. But then again, when you see that knockout reel, that's what gives you the buzz, and that's what gets the general public fans hyping about you, and it gets you more out there. I prefer to give a boxing lesson, but I wouldn't say no to a knockout. An easy night's work, you don't get paid for overtime.
Or someone who definitely loves the knockouts is Deontay Wilder. Ali wants to know, who have you got for Wilder Fury? They think Deontay by knockout.
I can see where they're coming from. There's arguments on both sides. I just can't bet against Fury, ever. He always seems to do it, and I want Fury to win, so I'm on the side of that fence because I like him as a person. Do I believe I can do it? Yeah, I do believe, because, like I said, you can't bet against him. He's 1 in a million, but Deontay Wilder is a very big puncher and very dangerous at any opportunity in the fight. So it makes a perfect matchup, but I'm going to go with Fury.
But we have to be realistic, and we have to look at history. Muhammad Ali, who is known as the greatest of all time, when he made his comeback in 1970, he fought 2 top flight opponents in Oscar Bonavena and Jerry Quarry. They were ranked number 3 and number 1 challenger for the world heavyweight title. Tyson Fury making his comeback after the same amount of time out they were also around guys. So that's difficult. And it's the truth, though. You can never, ever bet against Tyson Fury. But the thing about it is this, is like when you're dealing with a man that's been inactive and the someone was active, you always got to go with the active guy. But I want Tyson Fury to win. And because I want him to win, I think he's going to pull it off.
OK, so you're both going Fury. Let's move on then to the weekend in Monte Carlo we just had. You mentioned Kal Yafai there. Steve wants to know, do you think Kal Yafai's lacklustre performance the weekend was due to outgrowing the weight or due to the subdued atmosphere? That's interesting.
I do believe that the atmosphere in there is very dull.
It's
and a lot of people do say that. He's been in big arenas. He's fought in Birmingham in his hometown. And it could be as well to do with the opponent. He might have overlooked the opponent a little bit. He's looking for these unification fights.
Do you think weight's got anything to do with it?
I don't.
He looked flat
On Saturday.
He looked flat.
He tried a different way of making weight.
But then
he water-loaded, then dried out towards the end of the week. Do you think that worked for him or not?
That could have been an effect on it. Only he can answer that.
Well, Kal Yafai, the name's obviously been linked to you several times throughout your career. Is that a fight you still want, do you think, perhaps next year even?
Yeah, 100%. It's a fight I want. For me, it's a fight that I'd get bittersweet revenge on. I remember when I went onto the GB squad, I was only 17. I was coming up from the youths. I was 48 kilo. I'm skinny now, but I was even skinnier then. And when I was introduced into the sparring ring against him, he used to give it to me. He's dropped me with body shots, I ain't afraid to admit it. He used to give it to me. And over the year periods, as it started to turn round, started getting closer, he was pro, I was just leaving the squad. And then I started winning a few rounds. So it's kind of that bittersweet revenge how I would like to end it with me coming out victorious.
How would you beat someone like Kal Yafai with your style? How would you beat him?
I think my style's all wrong for him. I really do. Yeah, he's strong, he's tough, he's got a good left hook to the body. But as you can see on his performance at the weekend, as soon as someone starts taking distance off him, he forces the pace, he struggles with it, he gets frustrated. As soon as he starts getting tagged with shots, he doesn't like it. So I'm not going to say too much, but I will.
Do you think you won on the weekend?
The way I see it is, if it wasn't a matchroom show and if it was a non-world title fight and they was out in a completely open playing field, he wouldn't have won it.
Okay.
But he's world champion, justified. It was close,
so you're saying
and he was at home.
He was very fortunate to win.
I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
There's clearly a bit of an eagle spin to it. Clearly. How would you see that fight going?
It'd be a really good fight. And it's the fact that even you haven't. It's a weight above, but it's only a few pounds in difference in weight. So it's not really, because I know like you both must have to dry out a lot to get down to weight. I mean, I'm sat here with you. I don't even know this guy. I usually see you outside of fight time, so you look a lot bigger. Yeah, it would be a good fight. I would say like because Cal's so pressing in looking for destruction. But what you showed us in the Casemiro fight, was that you can actually take it. And that's like, what's that, a little while ago now, a year and a half, 2 years,
3 months.
Right, 2 years now, right. So you've improved. So it's who can administer the jab the best. Maybe the weight issue's more troubling for Kal than it is for you. So it's who can administer their jab best and stick to their boxing. I would really like to see that fight. What I am saying is, Kal was very lucky that it wasn't the other Roman Gonzalez that he's fighting on the weekend, and that's the God's honest truth. But you know what I mean, fair play to Kal, he's still got them.
Absolutely. Well, a man that really shone on Saturday night, Michael Hunter. Matt Brown wants to know 2 great wins for Michael Hunter, all action. Is he a threat to the heavyweight division, and should he fight again on December the 22nd? He was asked that question. He seems keen.
To be fair, I was actually out at one of my friends' boxing fights on Saturday, and I've only actually caught up with the Yafai fight, and that was Sunday, so I haven't actually seen much of Hunter, so I will openly hold my hands up.
You're allowed to have a live, Charlie.
That was a very good win. Yeah. That was a very, very good win. Dropping a man who's physically bigger than he, boxing the way that he's got an awkward style that it's kind of like a 70s kind of style of boxing, where like how he throws his shots, so you can see the aggression in his shots. Very similar to our former world champion Herbie Hyde, how he really puts the snap in the shot. The guy can fight.
But how much of an impact do you think he can make on the division?
Well, listen, definitely. He's come off for 2 back-to-back wins, solid wins. We heard Eddie Hearn say like they're trying to make the Takam fight. That would be a really good fight because Takam, you know, is one way to fight. I would really enjoy that, and the kid's entertaining as well. And plus, he's got Hasim Rahman in his corner, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, who's his trainer now. That all adds to the building and the hype. I rate the kid. I really think he's very good.
He said as well that his father, who's a fighter as well, took a fight once at an hour's notice. So he's got no issue in coming out December 22nd again, is he?
None whatsoever. The fights, you know, I mean, his fights. His father's now deceased, so I think he's fighting in for the memory of his old man as well. And props to the guy. I really do rate him. I rated him ever since I saw him when he fought Usyk, and he gave Usyk a run. Yeah. He gave him a run. Talking
of which, Usyk's obviously the only loss on his record. That was at cruiser. Gazman says, would love to see Usyk face Jarrell Miller at heavyweight. Surely his footwork is too good.
You know, it'd be a very, very dumb man to bet against Usyk.
There's a big weight difference between those two.
Yeah, but I'm going to allude to this. It's not whether you're big enough, it's whether you're good enough. Right, how many times have you moved around with guys who were like, I don't know, lightweights or welterweights and you schooled them, right? And they could be top-ranked guys. You ain't going to mention any names, but this is how it goes. It's whether you're actually skilled enough, and he's ridiculously skilled. Yeah. And I think he would be all wrong for Big Baby Miller, but Big Baby Miller could like rough him up, hold him, twist him around with his side, have that side advantage. But I'd like to see that fight. I've said that earlier.
What the preamble would be like.
Oh man.
It would just be all talk, and I don't think he would say anything, would he?
No, he wouldn't. But you know what? I like Big Baby Miller. I do like him. He's not the complete package yet. But with someone like Usyk, we're saying he's not the complete package yet, but he's more complete than most of the fighters, or 90% of the fighters that are in the world today.
Charlie, what did you make of Usyk's performance against Bellew?
To be fair, Bellew done a lot better than I thought, especially early on, that he was going to do. But Usyk is an unbelievable talent. Being around the amateur scene, he was always schooling kids all the way through, not kids, men, all the way through his career. So I've seen him up against top-level elite fighters as well, and he only gets better and better. Yeah. The more you put him in a fight where you think it's even, the better he gets. He turns it on. And I think he showed that in the Bellew fight. He might have let the occasion maybe get a bit better of himself at the beginning, but then when he settled, he punch perfect performance. He just landing at will when he wanted to, and his reflexes are unbelievable.
His eyes are firmly on one person. His goal is Anthony Joshua.
Everyone's goal is Anthony Joshua. He's the man who brings all the money.
How do you think
I heard you're eating up to get us to fight Anthony Joshua. You want that payday?
I'll jump in. Get that payday.
How do you think you fare against him?
It'd be a very interesting fight. I do think Anthony Joshua is a bit too big and explosive for him, but again, speed is power and precision is everything. So if he could work Anthony Joshua to come over his front foot and land and not get hit, then that would be the only way to beat him. But I believe Anthony Joshua is too acute, too switched on and clever now that he'd be too big and strong.
It's an intriguing one though, isn't it? Really good to have you on today, and you'll be joining us for the podcast, which of course you can all download later on iTunes.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.